Hello, my dear students. I, Harshada Wag, welcome you all for the lecture of Transportation Engineering. Today, we are going to learn unit number 4, that is pavement materials. So, let us start. The contents of this unit is materials used in highway construction and related tests, that is usually soil subgrade and CBR test. Then test on stone aggregates, bituminous binders, bituminous paving mixes, viscosity based gradation of bitumen, then modified bitumen, that is cutbacks emulsion, then crumbed rubber modified bitumen, that is CRMB, then polymer modified bitumen, that is PMB, foamed bitumen, and Marshall stability test design and test parameters. So we'll see all these points one by one in detail. So what is pavement? Many a times we use the words pavement. So pavement, highway pavement is a structure consisting of superimposed layer of processed materials above the natural soil subgrade, whose primary function is to distribute the applied vehicle load to the subgrade. The pavement structure should be able to provide a surface of acceptable riding quality, adequate skid resistance, favorable light reflecting characteristics, and low noise pollution. The ultimate aim is to ensure that the transmitted stresses due to wheel loads are sufficiently reduced so that they will not exceed bearing capacity of the subgrade. These pavements are usually recognized as serving this purpose, namely flexible pavement and rigid pavements. Means pavements there are two types, one is flexible and another is rigid. So pavement means road over which we are moving. So this is the example for the pavement. Then what should be the requirement of the pavement? An ideal pavement should meet the following requirements. First is sufficient thickness to distribute the wheel load stresses to a safe value of on the subgrade side. Whatever it will be taking the load of the vehicle, the road, whatever it will take the load of the vehicle, ultimately it should be firm enough to pass all that load to underlying soil safely. Structurally strong to withstand all the types of stresses imposed on it. Adequate coefficient of friction to prevent skidding of the vehicles. Smooth surface to provide comfort to road users even at a high speed. Right? Then it should produce less noise from moving vehicles. Dust proof surface so that track safety is not impaired by reducing the visibility. Impervious surface so that subgrade soil is well protected, and long life design with low maintenance cost should be provided. These are all the requirements of a good or ideal pavement. As we said that there are two types of pavement, one is flexible and another is rigid pavement. So first figure shows you the cross section of flexible pavement, whereas second figure shows you the cross section of rigid pavement. Flexible means which is capable to change in its dimension due to the movement of the vehicles, whereas rigid pavement there is no effect on this type of pavement by any of the means. Is called as a rigid pavement. In both the cases the structure is same, only whatever will be the construction method of the rigid pavement, in that there will be vertical as well as the transverse joints provided to help to pass the load to the underlying soil safely without any change in dimensions of the pavement. Is the difference in rigid pavement. So flexible pavements will transmit the wheel load stresses to the lower layer by grain to grain transfer through the point of contact in the granular structure. The wheel load acting on the pavement will be distributed to a wider area and the stresses decreases with the depth. Taking advantage of this stress distribution characteristics, flexible pavements normally have many layers. Hence, the design of flexible pavement uses the concept of layered system. This is the typical cross section or typical layering condition in the flexible pavement. Starting from the below portion, there will be the natural subgrade over which there will be the compacted subgrade of 150 to 300 mm thickness. Above that there will be a subbase course of 100 to 300 mm. Above that there will be a base course 100 to 300 mm, over which there will be laying of a binder course 50 to 100 mm, and top layer will be a surface course 25 to 50 mm. And above the surface course, for surface course there will be provision of a camber if you want. Okay, binder course is also called as a prime coat, whereas surface coat is also called as a tack coat. And above the surface course the finishing will be done, that will be by a seal coat. So this is the typical cross section of a flexible pavement. The typical layers of a conventional flexible pavement includes seal coat, surface coat, tack coat, binder coat, prime coat, base course, subbase course, compacted subgrade and natural subgrade. Seal coat is a thin surface treatment used to waterproof the surface and to provide the skid resistance. Okay, the topmost layer, what does it helps to? It helps to retain the water and by not allowing it to percolate inside the road surface. Then tack coat, where it is in between surface course and binder course. So tack coat is a very light application of asphalt, usually asphalt emulsion diluted with water. It provides proper bonding between two layers of binder course and must be thin, uniformly covers the entire surface and sets very hard. So this is the tack coat provided between the binder course and surface course. Then prime coat, where is the application of prime coat? Prime coat is in between binder course and base course. So prime coat is an application of low viscous cutback bitumen to an absorbent surface like granular basis on which binder layers is placed. It provides bonding between two layers. Unlike tack coat, prime coat penetrates into the layer below, plugs the voids and forms a watertight surface. All the coat layer is to provide the water resistance simply. Surface course is a layer directly in contact with the traffic load and generally contains superior quality material. They are usually constructed with dense graded asphalt concrete. It provides the characteristics such as friction, smoothness, drainage, etc. Also, it will prevent the entrance of excessive quantities of surface water into the underlying base, subbase, subgrade. It must be tough to resist the distortion under traffic and provide a smooth and skid resistance riding surface. It must be waterproof to protect the entire base and subgrade from the weakening effect of the water. This is about the surface course. Surface course means the top layer. Then the binder course. This layer provides the bulk of the asphalt concrete structure. Its chief purpose is to distribute the load to the base course. The binder course generally consists of aggregates having less asphalt and doesn't require quality as high as the surface course. So, replacing a part of the surface course by a binder course results in more economical design. Usually, day-to-day practice is the one and the same thing. Base course. The base course is the layer of material immediately beneath the surface of the binder course, and it provides additional load distribution and contributes to the subsurface drainage. It may be composed of the crushed stones, crushed slag, and other untreated or stabilized materials. So, where is the base course? Base course is just below the binder course. Then subbase course. The subbase course is the layer of material beneath the base course, and the primary function are to provide structural support, improve drainage, and reduce the intrusions of fines from the subgrade in the pavement structures. If the base course is open graded, then the subbase course with more fines can serve as a filler between subgrade and base course. A subbase course is not always needed or used. For example, a pavement constructed over a high quality stiff subgrade may not need the additional features offered by subbase course. In such situation, subbase courses may not be provided. Then subgrade. The topsoil or subgrade is the layer of natural soil prepared to receive the stresses from the layers above. It is essential that at no time soil subgrade is overstressed. It should be compacted to a desirable density near the optimum moisture condition. Okay, so we'll stop here. This was all about the flexible pavement details.